Okay. So this is going to be another review of the Blood Hunt series sent to me by my friend Chris. Thank you once again, bro. And yeah, we're going to be talking about Blood Hunt Marvel Universe. Once again, like I said, it's another tie-in to the Blood Hunt saga. Chris basically sent me all of them. The X-Men one is supposed to be coming soon, so I'll have read all. I have been every time I've been doing a Marvel book, I've been powering through all the tie-ins because I feel like if I just stopped and did it again, like I'd forget. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do all the Blood Hunt tie-ins before I do all the other Marvel books. But like I said, I am going to take breaks in between to do other books as well. But every time I do a Marvel book, it is going to be Blood Hunt centric, just so I have a little bit of continuity. Anyway, so this I feel like is one of the more important tie-ins, and actually important as opposed to Blood Hunt Midnight Suns, where that book felt like it was supposed to be way more. It was meant to be. I feel like it was meant to be way more important than it was actually meant to be. It was like, and again, I said this before. It was like you literally had the writer of the Blade comic that kind of builds into Blood Hunt, building a new version of the Midnight Suns to take down Blade, and they do nothing. Yeah. So this actually does have some relevance, or at least one of the stories do. Now this tie-in has issue 1 through 3 of the Black Panther tie-in, the Strange Academy tie-in, and for some reason they also have the standalone issue of the Hulk tie-in, which was also covered in the Incredible Hulk series as well. In that trade, at least, I mean. So yeah, out of these stories, I feel like though Black Panther especially, and to an extent Strange Academy, they feel a lot more important as opposed to the other ones I've been reading that weren't like directly tied into either the story or their own ongoings. So here we go. I'm going to start with the Black Panther comic first. So the Black Panther comic is, like I said, important in the sense that T'Challa was bitten at the start of the event, leading to him being enthralled by Blade / Varney. And basically he goes back to Wakanda to find an ancient temple that Varney had left there. It actually, like, this comic not only explains like how T'Challa like tried to fight off the vampiric infection of Varney, but also gives more to that temple that was left behind by Varney and gives more of an origin to it. This really does feel like a more important story as before. It also has a cool moment where some Egyptian and African gods team up with each other, which has always been kind of cool because like I've always thought like, yeah, Egypt had their own gods, then the rest of Africa had their gods as well. So this was like like Khonshu Khonshu and Bast teamed up with some of the African gods in order to stop Varney from achieving godhood. It's actually kind of like, I think that's the best part of the comic is the backstory of the gods teaming up to fight Varney. I also do like that, Blade, not Blade, T'Challa, yeah, Black Panther, Black Panther, it's kind of cool to see him use vampire powers because, like, if anyone could master vampiric abilities that fast after being turned, it'd be T'Challa. Like, no doubt about it. Like, it would 100% be T'Challa, gaining, having those abilities at his disposal. I will say, though, that I feel like it gets kind of muddled at the end. The book does kind of feel a little muddled because it's supposed to, it feels like, it had like the whole thing of like trying to free T'Challa from his vampire control and even going to the gods for help. It gets muddled because at the end, yeah, I found the temple for Varney, but because we still have to get this event done in the event book, not the actual, not the tie-in. The comic is written by Cheryl Lynn Eaton, who, that name sounds familiar, but I can't remember their work right out the gate. I do really enjoy. I did enjoy that story, the Black Panther story. I think it had a lot of interest to it, and we also get to see the like some other creatures from African mythology, like the Adaze, which are like African versions of vampires that are locusts. That was pretty cool. Wish we did more of them though. But I understand you can only do so much in 3 issues. So it's pretty decent. I think it's one of the, like I said, it's one tie-in that kind of felt like it was needed more. Next is the Blood Hunt Strange Academy storyline. That one actually has a lot of implication for the magic side, because basically, and this is kind of, and I'm actually going to talk about this now, is that Strange, who's lost his body to a vampire, is now in his astral form, and he goes to Brother Voodoo, who's head of the Strange Academy now, and he's like, we need the Montesi formula to destroy all vampires, even though some of the group, some of the classmates are vampires. And here's the problem I have with it, because in the main event, and even in the Doctor Strange storyline, Strange literally says, I'm not gonna do that. Like he comes to a moment where it's like, yeah, we can't use the Montesi formula after everything that happened, and we'd also kill other good vampires. So, but even though Blade did turn him into a vampire, Strange also has this moment of, well, we can't use it now. And even when he talks about like in his astral form, I'm like, did anyone not like pay attention to the like the main event or the tie-ins? Because Strange throws the idea out the window. So why is that the main thing? So the students are basically trying to find the Darkhold. Well, it turns out the Darkhold is it was destroyed by Wanda, but now has come back in the form of a child brought back by Agatha Harkness. And Agatha's the big villain here. It's almost like, yeah, the vampires don't really matter. It's more of, bringing back a new version of the Darkhold, which is now in the form of a boy, brought by Agatha Harkness. Don't think about it too much, just keep going. So yeah, that one's pretty fun. I think that has more implication on like what's going to happen next, especially now that Doctor Doom's going to be taking over the Strange Academy in Doom Academy. And I already talked about the Hulk story. All in all, I was a lot more impressed with this, even though I feel like the Strange Academy story doesn't feel like a tie-in as much as it does like more for the universe at large. And the Black Panther story, while it has its ups and downs, I think it had a solid storyline through, especially with the God stuff. But yeah, so there you go, guys. That's my another Blood Hunt tie-in review down. Chris, I know you're watching this. Thank you once again, bro. And yeah, if you've read these comics before, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.